crypto, politics, tech and more. Daily News Digest by News Source Crawler 27 October 2024. Number 1 hit and more. Crypto, politics, tech and more. Daily News Digest by News Source Crawler 27 October 2024. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube Music Charts. Global Top Songs October 11th to October 17th, 2024. Mantradeni.
AJ Kiraat. Madhubanti Bagchi. Divya.
Die with a Smile. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
Si antes te hubiera conocido. Karol G.
Soltera Shakira. Birds of a Feather Billie Eilish.
Nai. Amita Bata Cha Cha. Chuta Men. Sinpa Zao.
Bye Bye by NSYNC. Gata Only. Floy Menor and Chris MJ. Top hits on Apple Music 27 October 2024. Love Somebody Morgan Wallen. 25 Rod Wave. Watch You Know About Me. Glorilla Sexy Red. Birds of a Feather Billie Eilish. Wildflower Billie Eilish. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global. From the Friday, October 11th to Thursday, October 17th, 2024. Die with a Smile Lady Gaga Bruno Mars. Birds of a Feather Billie Eilish. Who Jimin. Taste, Sabrina Carpenter. Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter. Si antes te hubiera conocido, Karol G. Timeless with Playboy Cardi. The Weeknd Playboy Cardi. Sailor Song Gigi Perez. Please Please Please, Sabrina Carpenter. From the Netflix Global Top 10 list of October 14th to October 20th, 2024. Weekly list of the most viewed films in English. Lonely Planet. Woman of the Hour. Sweet Bobby My Catfish Nightmare. The Menendez Brothers. Sing. Weekly list of the most viewed films, non-English. Justice. The Shadow Strays. Uprising. Outside. Trouble. The Platform 2. From the Netflix Global Top 10 list of October 14th to October 20th, 2024. Weekly top lists of the most watched TV in English. Outer Banks. Season 4. The Lincoln Lawyer Season 3. Nobody Wants This. Season 1. Weekly top lists of the most viewed TV, non-English. Deceitful Love. Limited Series. The Secret of the River. Season 1.
Dan Da Dan.
Nintendo US Digital Bestsellers. From 27 October 2024. Super Mario Party Jamboree. Hogwarts Legacy. The Legend of Zelda. Echoes of Wisdom.
Boomerang Fu.
Stardew Valley. Among Us. Minecraft. Top paid Android games on Google Play US. 4/27 October 2024. Minecraft. Play with Friends. Balatro. Geometry Dash. Bloons TD6. Apple App Store for iPhone. Top paid games. From 27 October 2024. Minecraft. Play with Friends. Balatro. Heads Up. Bloons TD6. Plague Incorporated Geometry Dash. Steam's hottest games. Global top selling and top played games across Steam. From the top 100 products by revenue for Tuesday, October 15, 2024 to Tuesday, October 22, 2024. Counter-Strike 2. Throne and Liberty. Dragon Ball. Sparking. Zero. PUBG Battlegrounds. Liars Bar. Esports FC 25. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA releases 1 Industrial Control Systems advisory, 4 Iconics and Mitsubishi Electric products. CISA adds 1 known exploited vulnerability to catalog for Microsoft SharePoint deserialization vulnerability. 1 more drop in the AI ocean. Stability AI Stable Diffusion 3.5 Large. Stable Diffusion 3.5 Large is a multimodal diffusion transformer, MMDT, text-to-image model that features improved performance in image quality, typography, complex prompt understanding, and resource efficiency. Russia provided targeting data for Houthi assault on global shipping. Putin says Moscow will respond if West helps Ukraine to strike deep into Russia. It has been commented as Ukraine's deep strikes on ammo depots and weapons factories across Russia aim to weaken its war machine. Russian arms group warns it may halt exports as Ukraine war demands surge. Nearly 1 in 4 French people believe that democracy is not the best political system. Hard-right Dutch government approves unprecedented package of measures to control migration. Italy's Meloni government pays homage to fascist defeat in key World War II battle, sparking opposition criticism. President of Iran says, "We will respond to any stupidity with tact and intelligence." Iran should not make mistake of responding to Israel's retaliatory strikes, announces U.S. Biden says Israel apparently only hit Iran military sites, with "My hope is this is the end." Israel sent message to Iran ahead of attack and warned against response. FTX reaches $228 million deal with crypto company Bybit. Victims sue WazirX over $235 million hack in class action lawsuit. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo and Bank of America refuse to define unauthorized transaction, as customers lose $320 million to scams on Zelle, claims a report. Russia publishes new crypto law expanding state control over digital assets. Wall Street to surpass Satoshi as top Bitcoin holder this year. Analysts expect $200,000 BTC soon. Bank of England to press on with digital currency in case banks fall short, Bailey says, and Bitcoin will not replace cash, Bank of England Governor Bailey says. Tom Hanks says he and Forrest Gump co-star Robin Wright picked up right where we left off when reuniting for new film. Aardman and Mattel to co-develop Pingu animated TV series. Real Housewives of London coming in 2025 from Hayu and Made in Chelsea producer. Fandom has toxified the world, says Watchmen author Alan Moore on superheroes, Comicsgate and Trump. Hideo Kojima games have already gotten big reappraisals 5 to 10 years after release. Now the auteur says he wants to make games that will impress space aliens centuries into the future. James Cameron says the reality of artificial general intelligence is scarier than the fiction of it. Montreal dockworkers to launch one-day strike amid labor standoff. French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe orders a curfew a day after a strike prompted a blackout. Elderly workers now dominate South Korea's labor force as population ages. China's homegrown ARJ-21 jetliner will start its commercial operation in central China's Hubei. Boeing weighs options for troubled Starliner space program. TSMC Tech and Huawei's AI chips raises questions about porous supply chain, and TSMC halts shipments to SoftBank after chip found in Huawei AI processor. China has punished 589,000 people for graft in 9 months. In Argentina, the country's third-largest social security institution was raided for alleged money laundering. In the U.S., Alibaba agrees to $433.5 million settlement in shareholder lawsuit. The Fediverse is getting its own TikTok competitor called Loops. TSMC faces severe challenges as free trade falters, founder says. Google prepares AI that takes over computers. Bulgarians head to the polls to vote in 7th general election in 3 years, and far-right tip to gain ground as jaded Bulgarians vote again. EU leader denounces Russia's hybrid war, aiming to destabilize Western Balkan democracies. Montenegro's 2028 EU entry goal is reachable, von der Leyen says. Biden says, Elon Musk was an illegal worker when he began U.S. career, and Elon Musk claps back at Puppet Biden as he accuses Tesla CEO of breaching student visa norms. Donald Trump meets with Blue Origin execs the same day Washington Post declines to endorse a presidential candidate. The Guardian's The Observer editorial comments as, Americans who believe in democracy have no choice but to vote for Harris. Satellite photos show Israel hit Iran former nuclear weapons test building. Missile facilities, researchers say. Israel's first open attack on Iran targets missile sites and apparently spares oil and nuclear ones. International court prosecutor who charged Netanyahu faces sexual misconduct accusation. Georgia's jailed former president says, Putin's Russia is not ready for a new hot war. A new Iron Curtain could protect us from Putin, says Polish president. Lukashenko says Russian annexation of Belarus means war. Rheinmetall to establish 4 defense factories in Ukraine, and Rheinmetall begins Lynx fighting vehicle production in Ukraine. Rare Sahara floods bring Morocco's dried-up south back to life. Slowing ocean current could ease Arctic warming. A little. Zelensky signs law allowing foreigners to serve as officers in Ukrainian military. Ukraine's Zelensky says North Korean troops are poised to join the war. Cancels UN chief's visit. Putin once asked Elon Musk to not activate Starlink over Taiwan, as a favor to Xi Jinping, says in a report. Trump praises Chinese president for controlling citizens with an iron fist. Australia rejects visa application by right-wing U.S. pundit Candace Owens. Conor McGregor to face sexual assault allegation in upcoming civil trial. 16 vloggers, TikTokers arrested in Pakistan's Punjab for spreading fake news of rape. 40% of men in Japan feel awkward at work after taking paternity leave. In Thailand, retirement age to go up to 65, as announced by the ministry. UK to reduce benefit cuts for indebted households, Guardian says. EU urged to create intelligence body to counter external threats. Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan elevated to BRICS partner status as alliance expands, as 13 countries receive BRICS partner status. Bangladesh bans student wing of ousted Sheikh Hasina's party. After promising full self-driving updates for years, Elon Musk finally admits that most existing Teslas may never be able to drive themselves. Mazda's new EREV promises 800 miles range, charges 30% to 80% in 15 minutes. Germany's Mercedes sees profits nosedive on weak China sales. Mercedes-Benz and Porsche hit by weak sales in China. Vietnam to halt flights at 4 airports as Storm Trami nears. Storm Trami poses flood risks in central Vietnam. At least 126 dead and missing as Tropical Storm Trami batters the Philippines. Large Pacific storm system to bring rain, gusty winds and maybe thunder to Pacific Northwest. Hurricane Christy strengthens into a Category 5 storm in the Pacific Ocean. U.S. Labor Board wrongly ordered Tesla's Musk to delete anti-union tweet, court rules. UK banks facing billions more in payouts after auto loan ruling. Lloyds suffers £3 billion hit after car finance court ruling. Russia raises interest rate to 21%, its highest in decades. Putin ally warns most companies in Russia face collapse. The dodo was not fat and clumsy study debunks the image we have of the most famous extinct bird. Daylight saving time clock changes have substantial, but short-lived effect on how much sleep we get. Standing desks are bad for your health, according to a new study, as standing desks do not reduce risk of stroke and heart failure, study suggests. Washington Post publisher says he killed Kamala Harris endorsement, not Jeff Bezos, said in a report. 1 year ago, Washington Post taps former Dow Jones chief William Lewis as new CEO. New York City Mayor Adams refutes Kamala Harris, says Trump is not a fascist as he urges Democrats to dial down the temperature. Trump floats ending the federal income tax. North Korea says, any troop deployment to Russia is in regulations of international law. The American Spectator comments as Kim Jong-un pushes South Korea and the world to the brink of war. U.S. approves $2 billion in arms sales to Taiwan including advanced missile defense system. China vows to take countermeasures over U.S. and Taiwan $2 billion arms deal. China expanding nuclear arsenal at most rapid pace, may junk no first-use policy, says U.S. South Africa has amended its research guidelines to allow for heritable human genome editing. Canadian Senate unanimously supports bill to enforce sterilization of Indigenous women. Japan's ruling coalition to lose parliamentary majority, exit polls show. Georgia's ruling party wins pivotal election, early results show as opposition parties cry foul. Uzbekistan set to elect parliament loyal to president. Iran's nuclear facilities have not been impacted by Israeli strikes, a chief says. IDF claims to have found Hezbollah bunker full of cash and gold under Beirut hospital. China's leader has a new military secretary, state TV video of rocket force visit suggests. Iran says 4 soldiers killed, radar systems hit in Israeli strikes. Iran should not respond to Israeli strikes, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says. US warns Iran against retaliation, says it pushes for ceasefire deals in Gaza and Lebanon after Israeli strikes. Iran says Israeli jets struck Iran from Iraqi airspace, US therefore complicit. Notorious hacker group Team TNT launches new cloud attacks for crypto mining. CERT-UA identifies malicious RDP files in latest attack on Ukrainian entities. In France, hacker claims to have stolen data of 19 million free subscribers and 5 million IBANs. Philippines strengthens South China Sea strategy with $56 million Thitu Island upgrade. Top Chinese military commander visits Vietnam for talks on closer cooperation. China and Japan agree to boost maritime cooperation. In India, working with international agencies, Intelligence Bureau to ban hoax bomb perpetrators, announced by Aviation Minister Naidu. Israeli forces kill Hamas operative in Tulkarem plotting imminent attack. Poland arrests 4 in plot to mail explosives to Canada and U.S. SCMP comments as to be a Belt and Road education hub, Hong Kong must teach in Mandarin. Commonwealth leaders say time has come for discussion on UK slavery reparations. British lawmakers accuse Starmer of colonial mindset in slavery reparations debate. Recently, Starmer says he's open to talks on UK's past slave trade. Saudi Arabia begins construction of the world's largest building that could fit 20 empire states inside. Biden says, men voting for Trump making mistake. Michelle Obama admits fear that Donald Trump could retake White House. Joe Rogan asked Donald Trump for specifics on how 2020 was stolen, then could only laugh at the answer. India hoping presidential election will not affect partnership with U.S. Former CEO of the defunct digital mine faces Bitcoin fraud charges to the tune of $1.5 million. Barcelona and Real Madrid legends accused of endorsing a €3 billion crypto Ponzi. Litecoin's 2.6 years HODL time ranks second only to Bitcoin beats Ethereum. North Korean hackers use fake NFT game to steal wallet credentials, claims a report. New Google cyber attack warning comes as Russian APT-28 hackers strike with new cyber attack warning, confirming you are not a robot can be dangerous. Transact data breach exposes 92K users, employee phishing attack, ransomware group claims responsibility. Layer K announces new feature set tailored for blockchain content creators. Coinbase introduces Based Agent for creating AI agents in 3 minutes. The Telegraph comments as after Israel's strike, Iran's ailing theocracy may be entering its dying days. Tehran air defense system shoots down Israeli-launched retaliatory airstrikes. Israel met all its objectives in Iran's strike, Netanyahu says. U.S. calls for Tehran's restraint. France and Europe need to get finances in order, ECB Snot says, and ECB must stay nimble on rates because of weak economy, Not says. Europe's still best place to live, Irish central bank chief says. Bundesbank chief is mad at Russia's calls for global cooperation. Montenegro's 2028 EU entry goal is reachable, von der Leyen says. Nearly 1 in 4 French people believe that democracy is not the best political system. Hard-right Dutch government approves unprecedented package of measures to control migration. Zimbabwe leader declines party's offer to stay until 2030. Venezuela accuses Lula of staging accident to justify BRICS veto. Pope Francis Catholic Church reform process ends without giving more equity to women. Graphene oxide and chitosan sponge found to be 10 times more efficient at removing gold from e-waste. Quantum secret of hydrogen bonds in liquid water revealed for the first time. LRA rebel commander jailed in Uganda for war crimes in landmark case. In New York City, Queens gun traffickers sold assault rifles and brought inoperable RPG to NYC, authorities say. In Mexico, Sheinbaum proposes giving oil to Cuba to end blackouts, with whatever the Cuban people require. In the U.S., at least 75 people are sickened as the deadly McDonald's E. coli outbreak expands. Nigeria donates 1,000 doses of monkeypox vaccine to Rwanda. Perplexity says it's now serving 100M search queries a week. Reportedly, Microsoft x OpenAI discuss buying Perplexity. A report claimed that Google targeting December launch for Gemini 2. Meta releases quantized Llama 3.2 with 4x inference speed on Android phones. Researchers say an AI-powered transcription tool, used in hospitals, invents things no one ever said. LinkedIn says it has verified 55 million users in effort to combat AI's spread of scams, misinformation. OpenAI CEO responds to report of GPT-5 Orion coming later this year, with fake news out of control, as OpenAI says it won't release a model called Orion this year. One day it had been reported as, OpenAI reportedly plans to release its Orion AI model by December. A retinal implant helped blind people see again. Apple tests blood sugar app in sign of its health ambitions. Researchers discover waste disposal system in the brain. Delta sues CrowdStrike over software update that prompted mass flight disruptions. For our evil ransomware members sentenced in rare Russian cybercrime convictions. North Korean IT workers in Western firms now demanding ransom for stolen data. Video game libraries lose legal appeal to emulate physical game collections online, as U.S. copyright law forces researchers to explore extra-legal methods for game preservation, say historians who are disappointed after being denied a DMCA exemption. They wish this technology didn't exist. Perplexity responds to News Corp's lawsuit. 4 days ago, with content kleptocracy, News Corp outlets sue Perplexity over scraped stories. Meta strikes multi-year AI deal with Reuters. AP sources point that Chinese hackers targeted phones of Trump, Vance, people associated with Harris campaign. Reuters reports as accused Iranian hackers successfully peddle stolen Trump email. Russian actors made fake video depicting mail-in ballots for Trump being destroyed, FBI says. In a joint statement, ODNI, FBI and CISA says, Russian actors manufactured and amplified a recent video that falsely depicted an individual ripping up ballots in Pennsylvania. The Wall Street Journal reports that federal investigators probe cryptocurrency firm Tether. Tether CEO says he sees no indication of U.S. probe. Reportedly, cryptocurrencies dip after report of U.S. probe of Tether. Hacker returns $19.3 million to drained U.S. government crypto wallet. In the U.S., Biden and Harris administration releases proposed rules to authorize debt relief to nearly 8 million borrowers experiencing hardship. The Wall Street Journal comments as Harris struggles to distinguish candidacy from Biden. Mozambique ruling party declared winner of election amid fraud claims. UK willing to hand over Gaza intelligence to war crimes court. The Wrap reported that LA Times planned case against Trump series alongside Kamala Harris endorsement, before owner quashed it. Washington Post won't endorse in White House race for first time since 1980s, and Bezos made decision to kill Harris endorsement, reports Washington Post. Salon comments as billionaires have broken media. Washington Post's non-endorsement is a sickening moral collapse. The Post endorses Donald Trump for president, the clear choice for a better future. Elon Musk's secret talks with Putin ramped up during his Twitter takeover, claimed in a The Wall Street Journal report. NASA chief calls for investigation into report that Musk and Putin have spoken regularly. Reportedly, Elon Musk has spent more than $130 million on Trump and the GOP this year. Washington Post comments as, Elon Musk's Starlink satellite business is set to boom if Trump wins. Donald Trump tells Joe Rogan the biggest mistake of his presidency was picking bad, disloyal people. The Blaze comments as Trump's 4-star bully chief of staff John Kelly was a traitor within. ADL under fire for silence on Trump's alleged Hitler praise. Trump denies making positive comments about Hitler. 2 days ago, Trump likened to a fascist by General John Kelly, his former chief of staff. Reuters reports that Europe seeks to underpin Russia sanctions, fearing Trump overhaul. Putin says Russia won't make concessions to end war on Ukraine. Satellite images show major expansion at Russian site with secret bioweapons passed. Israel strikes Iran military targets. Tehran says damage limited. Vanity Fair comments as, with "You've been a bad little girl," Tucker Carlson gave the most WTF speech of all time at a campaign event for Trump. Only a third of Trump supporters say they'll accept a narrow loss. Salon comments as, with Daddy's home, Tucker Carlson's bizarre troll distills Trump's false promise to male voters. Mexico Senate votes to shield judicial reform from top court scrutiny. In Mexico, Televisa chair steps down amid U.S. Department of Justice probe into FIFA bribery. 1 year ago, in USA, Mexico's Televisa reaches $95 million investor settlement over FIFA bribery roll. 7 years ago, broadcasters Fox Sports, Globo, Grupo Televisa SAB implicated at FIFA corruption trial in the U.S. U.S. government witness in FIFA trial says, media companies paid bribes. New research shows genetic adaptations help Tibetans thrive at high elevations. DNA helps match whale-man skeleton to 800-years-old Norwegian saga. Scientists develop DNA technology in data storage breakthrough. Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 sets July 2026 release, following Avengers, Doomsday. Universal Music uses AI voice cloning tool to create Spanish-language version of Brenda Lee's hit Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Cable industry trade group sues FTC, seeking to block click-to-cancel rule. United Health says data of 100 million stolen in Change Healthcare breach. On February 21, Change Healthcare was the subject of a cybersecurity incident, that impacted the submission and payment of some health insurance claims and pharmacy benefits. In the U.S., CDC recommends second COVID vaccine dose for those 65 and older. Gambling poses huge global threat to public health, experts warn. In the U.S., federal judge announced that Meta, Google, TikTok must face schools addiction claims. Biden set to apologize to Native Americans for Indian boarding schools. Federal agency closes investigation into RFK Jr. over dead whale carcass, saying allegation unfounded. Musk has been in contact with Putin Russian officials since 2022, the Wall Street Journal reports. ISD report claims that Russian propaganda exploits U.S. hurricane response to undermine FEMA and Ukraine support. Mysterious monument on Capitol Hill honors January 6 with a bronze turd. OpenAI to release new AI model Orion by December, announced in a report. Meta releases quantized Llama 3.2 with 4x inference speed on Android phones. They wish this technology didn't exist. Perplexity responds to News Corp's lawsuit. 4 days ago with content kleptocracy, News Corp outlets sue Perplexity over scraped stories. Meta strikes multi-year AI deal with Reuters. Microsoft places assessment in investing in Bitcoin as a voting item for December shareholder meeting. Elon Musk owned X's India revenue and profit declined 90% in financial year 24. UBS CEO says Europe's fragmented banking markets increase costs. In Trump versus Harris 2024 polls, Trump up in 3 new surveys, Harris leads in 2 others. As per Scripps News and Ipsos poll, Americans are bracing for violence but prepared to accept election results. Election betting site Polymarket says, Trump whale identified as French traitor. In the U.S., senators press for Inspector General probe of Biden and Harris administration weaponizing Department of Justice and FTC leaks. Democratic lawmakers request special counsel investigation into whether Jared Kushner acted as unregistered foreign agent. 20 days ago it has been reported that Trump's son-in-law Kushner has discussed U.S. and Saudi diplomacy with Saudi Crown Prince. Trump says he's open to pardoning Hunter Biden. Israel names Al Jazeera reporters as Gaza militants. Network condemns unfounded allegations. Strike on Iran will make world understand Israel's might, says Defense Minister. With up to 1,000 missiles, Iranian officials disclose potential retaliation plans, as reported by the New York Times. IDF soldiers should refuse orders that may be war crimes, Israeli former security advisor tells BBC. CNN reports that more than 130 Israeli reservists signed letter refusing to fight in Gaza and Lebanon. Radio station in Poland fired its journalists and replaced them with AI presenters. NVIDIA supplier SK Hynix reports record third-quarter financial results amid strong AI memory demand. NVIDIA to supply AI chips to Reliance partner with Infosys TCS. NVIDIA CEO says India should focus on exporting AI rather than chips. TKO Group to acquire IMG Professional Bull Riders and On Location from Endeavor for $3.25 billion. Alien Romulus sequel and a secret new Predator movie in the works at 20th Century Studios. Maurizio Catalan's infamous banana will be sold at Sotheby's. The estimate is $1 million. Trump, who says he would fire Jack Smith within 2 seconds, moves to challenge special counsel's role in election case. Newsweek comments as, Donald Trump's McDonald's shift went down best with Gen Z. Trump says U.S. is like a garbage can for the world, as he rails against illegal immigration. NVIDIA, Apple and Microsoft in race for $4 trillion market cap. Stage is set for tech stocks for another 20% move higher in 2025. NVIDIA will win the race to a $4 trillion market cap, but the long-term big tech battle might be different, experts say. Goldman Sachs announced 4 months ago, generative AI could raise global GDP by 7%. Judge sides with FTC, blocking Kate Spade and Michael Kors merger. At BRICS Summit, Putin welcomes Trump's comments on ending Ukraine war. Putin can't recall Trump threatening to blow up Moscow. At least 7 countries resisting Ukraine's NATO membership invitation, Politico reports. The Telegraph comments as Russia is on the verge of collapse. Europe cannot abandon targeted sanctions. Kiev preparing internal plan to strengthen Ukraine, Zelensky confirms. Russian lawmakers ratify pact with North Korea. As U.S. confirms that Pyongyang sent troops to Russia. South Korea warns it may send Ukraine weapons after North Korea sent troops to Russia. South and North Korea troops potentially entering Ukraine war unlikely to stoke regional conflict, analysts say. U.S. trade head urges Brazil to consider risks of China Belt and Road Initiative. As Brazil eyes China's Belt and Road Initiative, U.S. says to reconsider. India does not share Japanese PM Shigeru Ishiba's view of Asian NATO, says India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. China says Australia, plagued by systemic racism, after diplomat raises concerns about human rights in Tibet and Xinjiang. Europe mustn't become world's museum, Michel tells ANSA. Georgia prepares for a divisive election which could determine its future in Europe. Barnier says Italy's migrant deal with Albania does not seem doable in France. Migrants return from Albania to Italy after court ruling. Flood risk as Cyclone Dana hits India, uprooting power lines and trees. Tropical cyclones pummel Philippines, India. One day ago, it has been reported that India evacuating more than 1 million people as Cyclone Dana nears. Scientists says climate change has worsened deadly flooding in Africa. 2 cities buried for centuries beneath Silk Road grasslands uncovered by drone LiDAR. China rivalry will continue into the next decade. U.S. ambassador tells NBC News. Bloomberg comments as China plays nice with U.S. partners ahead of possible Trump return. Taiwan says blockade would be act of war as China holds more drills. Chinese official urges Apple to continue deepening presence in China. Cats can learn words faster than human babies, study suggests. Study finds most meteorites come from just 3 sources. Smoke pollution from wildfires may be killing an extra 12,000 people a year, new research suggests. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 could boost Game Pass by up to 4 million subs, but at the cost of 6 million lost sales, analysts predict. Scots Children's Hospital introduces gamer-in-residence in UK first. Nintendo's Switch Online playtest goes live and players immediately leak gameplay and even stream it. IDC announces that Chinese smartphone market continues growth streak with 3.2% rise in 3Q24. Apple shares private cloud compute virtual research environment, provides bounties for vulnerabilities. Apple returns to top 5 smartphone ranking in China with iPhone 16 as Huawei battle ramps up. UN report says, nations must close huge emissions gap in new climate pledges and deliver immediate action, or 1.5 degrees centigrade lost. Also, continuation of current policies will lead to a catastrophic temperature rise of up to 3.1 degrees centigrade. In the U.S., Biden administration expands tax credit for producing solar, wind, and battery components. Space Solar and Transition Labs to deliver space-based solar power to Iceland by 2030. As Iceland poised to tap space-based solar energy, Fortinet warns of new critical 40 manager flaw used in zero-day attacks. Efforts by Russia, Iran, and China to sway U.S. voters may escalate, new Microsoft report says. An investigation exposes data brokers using ads to help track almost any phone. Flock Safety paid over $300 million for 17-month-old drone startup Aerodome. Apple sharply scales back production of Vision Pro. Kroger and Walmart deny surge pricing after adopting digital price tags. Amazon's AI data center dream runs into the reality of zombie facilities, higher costs, and labor shortages. Former OpenAI researcher says the company broke copyright law. Google's $2 billion Anthropic investment faces UK antitrust scrutiny. Google DeepMind is making its AI text watermark open source. Boy 14 fell in love with Game of Thrones chatbot, then killed himself after AI app told him to come home to her, the mom. To keep deepfakes from infiltrating its site, Yahoo News enlists help from McAfee. TikTok will now show its STEM feed to adults, not just teens. Adobe made its painting app completely free to take on Procreate. In Poland, antitrust authority investigates Meta for limiting visibility of posts linking to Polish media. Taiwan's Tsinghua University uses a photon to build the world's smallest, the single photon quantum computer. OpenAI released a new approach called SCM, in sampling procedure with high quality to leading diffusion models, while using only 2 sampling steps. Biden administration urges U.S. agencies to harness AI systems for national security, as Biden administration outlines government guardrails for AI tools. In the U.S., CFPB orders Apple and Goldman Sachs to pay over $89 million for Apple Card failures. In the U.S., reportedly 15 corporations used Trump tax cuts to pump $839 billion into buybacks and dividends. Starbucks suspends 2025 guidance as sales slump 7% in Q4. Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test set for October 28 to 30th for PlayStation Plus members, October 31st to November 3rd for all. Hidden 2,000-years-old skeletons and Holy Grail Cup found in secret tomb, where Indiana Jones was filmed. Hallmark did not want to cast old people like Holly Robinson Peete and Lacey Chabert, suit claims. U.S. confirms North Korea has sent 3,000 troops to Russia for training and possible Ukraine combat. In the U.S., DHS is seeking more than 600 migrants for possible ties to Venezuelan gang. Terrorist attack on state-owned Turkish aerospace industries kills at least 4 people, official says. Turkey hits Kurdish militant targets after a deadly attack on defense company. McConnell says MAGA movement is completely wrong, and Reagan wouldn't recognize Trump's GOP. Justice Department warns Elon Musk that his $1 million giveaway to registered voters may be illegal. In the TikTok election, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris vie for younger voters. Donald Trump groped me in what felt like a twisted game with Jeffrey Epstein, former model alleges. Wrong way driver passes Harris motorcade on Milwaukee Highway. McDonald's location visited by Trump attracts negative reviews, causing Yelp to disable comments. Microsoft-owned LinkedIn fined €310 million by Irish Data Protection Commission. 16 months ago, Microsoft flags over $400 million charge for Irish privacy violation fine on LinkedIn. Perplexity CEO proposes revenue deals for publishers after lawsuit. Georgia election official says, battleground state fended off cyber attack likely from a foreign country. Linus Torvalds affirms expulsion of Russian maintainers, on remove some entries due to various compliance requirements thread, with the various compliance requirements, are not just a U.S. thing. HBO documentary identifies Peter Todd as Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto. Nigeria court releases Binance executive detained for months. IMF declares global fight against high inflation is almost won. The key Atlantic current could collapse soon, impacting the entire world for centuries to come, leading climate scientists warn. UC Berkeley chemists develop powder to suck carbon dioxide from the air, as half a pound of the powder can remove as much CO2 from the air as a tree, scientists say. In the U.S., doctor delays federally funded puberty blockers report for political reasons. Politico comments as, with their just over it, how Trump has converted male frustration into a movement. Quarter of Americans fear civil war after election, British The Times newspaper poll shows. Meta tests facial recognition for spotting celeb-bait, ad scams and easier account recovery. Ireland's new online safety code to protect children on social platforms including Facebook, YouTube and TikTok. In the U.S., Biden administration proposes new rules governing data transfers to adversarial nations, as U.S. moves ahead with crackdown on data brokers selling to 6 countries of concern. In the U.S., 26 people remain unaccounted for in North Carolina following Hurricane Helene. Tropical storm Nadine sweeps across Belize, dumps rains on Mexico, and at least 2 dead and hundreds rescued in severe New Mexico flash flooding. Egypt is certified malaria-free by WHO. Trump appears to post fake image of himself as a star NFL player. McDonald's Donald Trump worked at failed last health inspection. Trump says Saudi crown prince a great guy. Trauma-suicide plaguing Israeli soldiers upon return from Gaza. Reported by CNN. Meta's Israel policy chief tried to suppress pro-Palestinian Instagram posts. Russian propaganda unit appears to be behind spread of false Tim Walz sexual abuse claims. 5 days ago, a video surfaces as Tim Walz assaulted high school student Matthew Metro in 1997. In the U.S., Congress House panel finds Trump assassination event preventable. An interim report. 1 in 5 Republicans want Trump to call election invalid if he loses. Study shows that U.S. infant mortality spiked after the right to abortion was overturned. Obesity rates in U.S. not growing for first time in a decade, but severe obesity on the rise, as announced by CDC. Fire kills 153 people after fuel tanker crash in Nigeria. Harris interview with Fox News showcases a change in strategy for Democrats with network. It has been commented as, Democrats are helping restore Fox News to cable dominance. Steve Ballmer has spent $100 million in a new twist on political giving. Arm the public with facts, says Microsoft billionaire fights U.S. election disinformation. Trump tax plans could exempt 93 million Americans from income taxes. Mexican Navy says it seizes 8.3 tons of drugs in Pacific. Mexico's former public security chief sentenced to 38 years in U.S. drug case. Mexican Catholic priest and indigenous activist Perez, who spoke out against cartel violence, killed by 2 gunmen in southern Mexico. The head of Mali's military junta appoints himself to the highest rank in the army. Russia pushes New World Order agenda as it hosts beefed-up BRICS summit. Bloomberg comments as Vladimir Putin is gaining in his fight to divide Europe. UK's foreign chief predicts quick end to Russia and Ukraine war if Trump wins. Egypt increases fuel prices by 10% to 17%. Hybrids top petrol power for first time in EU new car sales, AS says. It has been reported that European Union's car market continued to decline in September, and in Europe September registrations -4.2%, Stellantis -26%. Tokyo Metro raises $2.3 billion in Japan's biggest IPO in 6 years. In India, Supreme Court says secularism a core part of the constitution. Holy See and China extend provisional agreement on appointment of bishops. As Synod features Chinese members, British Lord draws attention to religious persecution. In Ethiopia, UN chief advocates for permanent Security Council seats for Africa. Brazil, Lula reiterates opposition to Venezuela's entry into BRICS. 2 months ago, Venezuelan government has authoritarian bias, says Brazil's Lula. Taiwan rejects South African demand to move its representative office from capital. China holds live fire drills on island closest to Taiwan. Cryptocurrency transactions volume spiked nearly 25% in Brazil. Brazil's central bank chief sees huge de-anchoring of inflation expectations. Peru's former president Toledo gets more than 20 years in prison in case linked to corruption scandal. Nicolas Cage urges young actors to protect themselves from AI. With this technology wants to take your instrument. Blade Runner 2049 producers sue problematic Elon Musk and Warner Brothers Discovery over highly offensive AI imagery used in Tesla pitch. As Elon Musk sued by Blade Runner 2049, producers over robotaxi imagery. Rupert Murdoch's Dow Jones and New York Post sue Jeff Bezos-backed Perplexity for copyright infringement, accuse AI firm of massive free-riding. XAI, Elon Musk's AI startup, launches an API. More startups are being spun out of Klarna than any other European fintech unicorn. Chinese humanoid robot is the fastest in the world thanks to its trusty pair of sneakers, as sneaker-wearing humanoid beats barefoot bot on Gobi Fun Run. Tokyo Override CG anime hits Netflix November 21st. Dracula author Bram Stoker's long-lost story Gibbet Hill rediscovered more than 130 years after it was written. Biden to honor Steven Spielberg, Spike Lee, Ken Burns with National Medals of Arts. iOS 18.1 with Apple Intelligence to arrive in the last week of October 2024, Apple confirms. Google retires Sitelinks search box feature. Netflix shuts down A Team Blue gaming studio, amid gaming shake-up. European Court of Justice rules against Sony in lawsuit over action replay cheats. The directive on the legal protection of computer programs does not allow the holder of that protection to prohibit the marketing by a third party of software, which merely changes variables transferred temporarily to a game console's RAM. Intuit seeks to scrub CEO comments on tax lobbying from Tech Podcast. 5 years ago it has been reported as TurboTax deliberately hid its free file page from search engines. ITV Studios launches Zoo 55 to lean into YouTube. Former Iron Maiden singer Paul Di'Anno dies at 66. Tom Holland to star in Christopher Nolan's next film, rumored to be a vampire movie set in the 1920s. Intelsat's 33 EGO satellite breaks up in orbit. China sets new world record with 800,000 times more magnetic field than Earth's. IUCN welcomes 12 new sites from Brazil, China, Colombia, France, Saudi Arabia and Zambia to the green list. Nearly 200 countries gather at COP16 to discuss meeting 2022 treaty pledges. In India, 3 men teased leopard in Madhya Pradesh's Shahdol, then it mauled them. German police say pizza order number 40 came with a side of cocaine. Mark Cuban says the election is now a battle between Kamala Harris and Elon Musk, not Donald Trump, and it has been commented as Mark Cuban wants Elon Musk and Kamala Harris to be friends. Piers Morgan comments on New York Post as, Trump's genius McDonald's stunt will fry Kamala at the ballot box.